So ever since we found out that Seth Rollins is out, the rumors of Austin Theory joining seemed pretty unlikely. Dare I say, Daddy's coming with yet another disappointment. Oh, Paul Levesque, we get it at this point. We don't associate Theory with Vince McMahon anymore. Vince is no longer in charge. You proved your point. People, this is where WrestleVotes comes in with a glimpse of hope. So you're telling me there's a chance. We'll also talk about Jey Uso getting crazy amounts of hate, Chris Jericho's WWE return, Paul Levesque shooting on fans, interesting update on why Sami dropped the title, and when is Jacob Fatu coming back. Welcome to another Greatness of Wrestling episode, where we talk about the latest wrestling news, nudes, and lubes. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Now, Austin Theory is somebody we want to see in the Vision, but ever since Seth Rollins got injured, ever since the Vision turned on Seth Rollins, it pretty much seemed like all the plans went to shite, and we're going with something completely different. I mean, I think they're even called the Revision right now, right? Right?
It's me again, Randy. I think the Great One is stupid.
That sounds about right. WrestleVotes, one of the most trustworthy WWE sources. Whenever you see something from Meltzer, it's like, he could be right, but look at his room. A lot of times he just speculates, but when it comes to WrestleVotes, from my experience, it's one of the most trustworthy WWE news rumor sources. While they're saying sources indicate there are still voices within the company pushing to keep Austin Theory involved in creative plans, even after the recent shuffling caused by Seth Rollins' injury. The idea of Theory joining the Vision was at least discussed, and he still has internal support moving forward to reappear on TV in a significant manner. Yes, people, in a significant manner, not just another lower mid-carder, so I'm pretty happy with these rumors. My idea is make him debut at Saturday night's main event. This is gonna sound crazy, people, perhaps a little bit stupid. Perhaps you're going to call me crazy, perhaps you'll unsubscribe, you filthy bastards, but what if Austin Theory causes a DQ? Nobody wins the championship. Now why? Why the Great One nobody wins the championship? Because it's the Vision's title. Austin Theory, maybe with Bronson Reed, maybe with Braun Breaker, make sure nobody wins this match because this championship belongs to the Vision. Even if Seth Rollins was technically holding it, in their crazy ass minds, this title belongs to us. We made sure Seth Rollins is holding that championship in the first place. So that is just an idea. People, that is just an idea. You don't pluck your pubes. It's all fine. People, I think it's absolutely crazy that WWE buried this guy just to show who's in charge. At least that's what we think is the reason behind the burial. I mean, ever since Triple H took over, the first thing he did is bury the guy who was chosen by Vince McMahon. What's so interesting about these rumors to me, people, is that a lot of people in creative, they see a lot in this guy. You know, at one point we thought he's gonna be the future of the WWE. I don't like conspiracy theories, people. Maybe I do. Well, whatever the case may be, I think it did have something to do with Triple H trying to show the fans that, you know, Vince McMahon is definitely not in charge. Why would you bury that guy? He wasn't bad. I really liked the response to this tweet. He's Baby Randy and Baby Cena in one package. Deliver it. This is the best way to describe Austin Theory. You have Randy Orton, you have John Cena, two GOATs. I always say he reminds me of Randy Orton. Some of you say, well, no, actually John Cena. You know, people, I actually see both. The way he looks, the way he acts, he's a total package in my opinion. He's actually, in my opinion, very, very underrated in the ring, and I say delivered on the microphone for the most part. And we already talked about one way WWE could bring Theory to the WWE, to the Vision. What are the other possible scenarios? What if he returns with Seth Rollins? I actually like that idea. They were already in a faction. It would make sense that Seth Rollins is now calling up his old friends. The issue is, they have a bit of a longer history, and Seth Rollins ain't gonna make his return for a very, very long time. But the story of revenge on Seth Rollins actually makes total sense. If WWE are even gonna try to explain it, because most of the time, they don't really. We still don't know why Brock Lesnar attacked John Cena. Theory had all of this potential in the WWE. He was Mr. Money in the Bank. It got ruined because of Seth Rollins. He never recovered, so he can basically say, I lost all my confidence. And it's because of one man, one crazy ass man, Seth frickin' Rollins. I think it could be a pretty good redemption arc, my people. Now, people, let me know in the comments below, am I cooking or am I talking out of my butt? So we saw Jey Uso winning the #1 contenders match, and he's facing CM Punk for the World Championship at Saturday night's main event. And people went absolutely crazy. Some people went crazy on the internet. Some people flipped off their mama. Yes, that's how crazy and weird wrestling fans got, but probably for a good reason. Nobody actually wanted that. There's a big amount of dislikes. I'm not saying the actual amount because it keeps increasing every hour. Now sure, these dislikes are not necessarily very reliable, but it pretty much tells a story that sure, there's a big amount of dislikes, even if the number is not necessarily legitimate. And people, I am questioning this decision too. I was thinking about LA Knight the entire time and I thought I'm the only one, Delusion, people, delusion, all about delusion, I'm a delusional human being. I'm still thinking about LA Knight's push. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's not. Seems like I'm not the only one, because then you read the comments on this video. They're doing LA Knight and AJ Styles wrong. Someone on the back must have some type of problem with them. When it comes to AJ Styles, it didn't necessarily make sense, even though I would have loved seeing this match. Now, when it comes to LA Knight, it's not that they have a problem with LA Knight, in my opinion. It's more of a they love Jey Uso that much. And they're still in this phase of this guy sells a lot of merchandise. It's a good thing. But there are a few different types of wrestling fans. To be the devil's advocate, he is probably selling shitloads of merch. Kids like the dude. But the ones left in comments, well, they're us. It's us! Putting Jey over Knight is an obvious sign of favoritism within the creative team. There's that too, definitely. We need to rally behind LA Knight just like we did for Daniel Bryan, because they continue to treat this man poorly. Over 1,000 likes, people. This is absolutely crazy, and I thought I'm the only one. I thought I was the only one, people, but I was watching this match and I'm like, LA Knight got eliminated so quickly? Not quickly, but we still had like 4 people left in the match. That was absolutely crazy, and this kind of pissed me off the most. It wasn't even Jey and LA Knight in the finals. WWE tried to trick the fans by giving you Dominic and Jey Uso. Oh, so it's Dominic, obviously he's getting eliminated, so you're probably not gonna boo Jey Uso. Well, it's 2025, wrestling fans are a little bit smarter than that. Most of the time. On a special occasion. Punk and AJ would have made fans happy. Absolutely. It doesn't make sense for the story. The match is very, very, very predictable. But I really want to see another CM Punk and AJ Styles match. I really want to see that. I don't care when. Even if CM Punk wins the championship at Saturday night's main event, I just want AJ versus Punk, maybe on Raw, I don't give a shit. Punk literally pinned Jey last week. This was another really, really weird decision that I didn't really talk about because I forgot, but that's how CM Punk got the opportunity in the first place. And then you're giving it to the guy who got pinned by the guy who's gonna be in the match for the champ. It doesn't make any sense. Sure, there are many ways to look at it, people. It's wrestling. We're supposed to believe it's, legit and stuff like this happens, Well, he got another opportunity. But it's just kinda silly, isn't it? It's like they gave us this #1 contenders match, but it's actually everybody except for LA Knight. Fans are either crashing out or burning out over LA Knight's horrible booking. This is getting ridiculous. I feel like, people, there are no more excuses at this point. No more excuses. This man has been getting so much support for years now. WWE can keep saying, well, you gotta be patient, it's not the right time, which maybe it isn't, but at this point, after so much support for such a long time at this point, there is no excuse. I just really hope WWE are going to surprise us with this match. Y'all remember the rumors of Chris Jericho returning to the WWE, and the rumors are still running wild. Jericho spoke with Daily Mail and said, I'm still with AEW for right now. Would I go back to WWE? I wouldn't be opposed to it. We'll just have to see what happens. But the best thing that could happen is to have 2 great teams that you can play for. And that just makes everything bigger and more exciting. Yes, people, when it comes to Chris Jericho, you don't really know what he's trying to do. He's either trying to play like he's coming back to the WWE just so he could get a bigger contract from AEW, get a lot more money, which makes sense, that's how you negotiate, or he's literally, open to a WWE return. He probably realizes he's not that young anymore, and finishing your career in WWE is probably not that bad of an idea. Now, this is not some AEW hate comment. Don't get it twisted. But unfortunately, AEW is not as big as Chris Jericho probably expected it to be. What about Tony Khan, people? What Tony Khan says about this entire situation? Well, Khan appeared on Busted Open Radio and said, I love Chris Jericho. He's a huge part of AEW. He's been here since the beginning. We'll see what happens in coming months, but Chris is always welcome. He's a big part of AEW. We would always want to have him here. I absolutely am so grateful to Chris Jericho for all he's done. I absolutely love the fact that Tony Khan said that, because Chris Jericho is the one who put AEW on the map. You can say the Elite, you can say Cody. People, for me, I remember just feeling like, oh, this is actually legitimate. This could be a big thing because Chris Jericho is joining. That's how I felt. That's how many wrestling fans felt. He was that star power that was needed for AEW. So I'm glad Tony Khan acknowledged that Chris Jericho was a big deal. Meltzer said the idea is that Chris Jericho is coming for a retirement tour and a Hall of Fame induction. Now, I'm a big Chris Jericho fan, so this is kind of weird. So maybe Meltzer is again pulling stuff out of his but I don't know, because I do remember Chris Jericho talking about how he doesn't care about the Hall of Fame, and one thing he's never going to do is a retirement tour. He said that so many times, some of you probably heard it before, he's never doing a retirement tour. Once it's done, it's done. You won't ever know. Now, obviously, this could be WWE's idea, but the contradictions right here are absolutely crazy. I'm seeing so many people posting Photoshop pictures of a division, saying this is a good idea. But people we already have Heyman. What is he going to add to this faction? As a Chris Jericho fan, obviously I would pop. I would feel like it's probably a great moment. But realistically speaking, he wouldn't necessarily add a lot to the faction, unless I'm obviously proven wrong. Y'all remember how bad WrestlePalooza was? Well, it was pretty mid, right? The Observer newsletter claims that Triple H reacted to negative reviews of WrestlePalooza at a production meeting by saying, and this is referring to the fans,
"We work them. They don't work us."
Very douchey line. Very douchey line. It's like, we had a bad show.
We work them. They don't work us. If we feel like the show is good, it means it's good. The fans' opinion doesn't matter.
That is a terrible mindset. That is a horrible mindset, people. You're putting out a product for the fans. Fans hate it. They're probably right most of the time, right? I will say, though, the line is pretty badass. It's pretty fucking badass. People, I'm gonna say this every time something doesn't go my way. So Sami Zayn lost the United States Championship to Ilya Dragunov. Well, Bodyslam.net claims it was Sami Zayn who made the call to drop the United States Championship to Ilya Dragunov on SmackDown. Much respect to Sami Zayn. Now, we heard reports that WWE did it to basically make things fresh again because Ilya was previously on Raw. Both things could be true at the same time. It seems kinda weird Sami lost the championship in such a short amount of time. But mad respect to Sami Zayn. He probably sees a lot in Ilya Dragunov if these reports are true, which is again a reminder, some of this stuff may not even be legit. I think it was the right call, and like I've said, what makes it so special is that even if you liked Sami Zayn's open challenge, we can still get the same thing. He's a great wrestler, unique wrestler, and he could basically continue with the open challenge. Every week on SmackDown, we would get an open challenge, a surprise here and there, good wrestling. It's such a great concept, John Cena did it perfectly. It's crazy how WWE only now brought it back. It's legitimately one of the most exciting things about SmackDown right now. I mean, if it is gonna continue. Finally, while discussing Jacob Fatu's current dental issue, which is apparently something that's keeping him out of action, I honestly had no idea. Observer's Brian Alvarez said, I believe he will be back maybe by Survivor Series weekend. So we're again talking about people believing things. I believe in a lot of things. I believe in many things, people, but whatever. Maybe they know more than we do. Obviously, they're deep in the wrestling business. I'm a degenerate from Lithuania. So this is pretty much good news. I was actually worried for a second that he's legitimately injured or, has some kind of illness. You never know. A dental issue sounds much better to me. And WWE managed to create something exciting out of it. Is it Drew McIntyre? Or is it Randy? Maybe it's Cody. This whole situation possibly created an entire different storyline, an entire different plot twist where somebody is possibly turning heel if it's not as obvious as Drew McIntyre. If Cody eventually turns heel, which is very unlikely, he could say, and yes, I attacked Jacob Fatu. Or maybe it's Randy Orton, which is something I talked about in my previous video, so I'm not gonna get into. But WWE created something interesting if they're gonna deliver. You never know. But people, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to click this video right here, like this video, subscribe if you already didn't. I don't know what I'm showing you right here, but it's probably good. Make sure to click it. The Great One. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.